Hello world, I am now by Mall del Rio, but I'm not visiting the mall, I'm actually doing something else, which is going to the Turi viewpoint, one of the main tourist spots of the city of Cuenca. And I'm making this update, I don't know if it will be the last frequent update, maybe I will do one by the end of the next week. This is the Pan American Highway. Well, it's Sunday, it's already 6:30 p.m. And well, I'll just update basically about what happened last night and today. And in Cuenca, in all of Ecuador, summarized in short, what I can tell you is there have been more than 1,000 arrests since this started on Monday. The arrests keep going, and most of the prisons they have already been taken control of again, including Cuenca. The prison is just next to the city. This is the city. Up there, that's the National Park Cajas. And I'm going to Turi, the main viewpoint, up here. This is the mall. As you see, it is full. Also, I'm making this video because I think you want constant updates. I can't make them, maybe I'll make short, very short ones. Let me know if you would like even 2-minute things just to know I'm doing okay, or telling you how the situation is. But the situation is fine. At least in Cuenca, it is okay. Someone commented in one of the videos saying that I'm putting people's lives in risks just to keep a business here, and that's not true. And you know, you who have been watching the videos, that I always tell you the truth, even if it is bad. Like during the strikes, during the paros, those of you who have watched maybe my first viral videos, I have told you everything. The situation in Cuenca is different to other cities. And I could tell you that, but you can also check it with people living here in groups like expats in Cuenca, Cuenca expats. Those are Facebook groups. Ecuador expats, perhaps the most prominent Facebook group as well. You also have Ecuador travel info. You may ask there, and you will hear from expats living here, or from people who are doing tourism here. They will tell you, don't come to this area, don't go to this area, don't use transport here, use transport there. I'm not telling you to come. I actually have told you in my other 2 videos, my last 2 videos, wait to see what happens if you're coming in the upcoming weeks. If you're coming like early February, the last of January, well, early February, don't postpone the trip yet. I wouldn't recommend you to do that, but I'm not telling you openly come. I think there won't be any issue with coming in 2 weeks, but the situation may change, and I'll let you know why. Well, yes, I do have a business here in tourism and in relocation as well, but if something happened to one of my clients, that would be bankrupt for me. I'm not a person who has been having his own business for many years now, no. So I'm doing this carefully. So if I see risk in the safety of my clients, I simply don't proceed. Okay? That up there is the Turi viewpoint, and we're going up there. I don't recommend you to do this if you are not aware of how to cross in Latin America. Also, coming to this viewpoint, walking in the evening, well, it's not 100% safe. Don't do it actually. But, well, I live in this area, so I'm more confident because I know the area very well. But don't do it. During the day, well, you could do it. But you could also take a cab from the historic district to the viewpoint of Turi, Mirador de Turi. It is just $2.50. You could even take the bus for 30 cents from Benigno Malo and come here. Okay, if you see me breathing hard, it's because we're going up and up now. So I'm talking as I'm walking. My lungs need more air. That's the armed forces, a truck of armed forces. Because this way you go to the Turi prison, which is the prison I was telling you. It is almost next to the city. It is not next to the viewpoint where I'm going, but it's not that far. Wednesday morning, for example, when they started trying to enter the prisons, the police and the armed forces, they closed all of this road. But now it's open again for tourists, for youngsters, neighbors. Well, looks like they're having fun there. Again, you don't have to believe in what I say. You can use me as an additional source of information, but not the only one, of course. By the way, if you want to know news that I think are reliable about news from Cuenca, I'll leave you in the description a Twitter list that I use for information about the situation in Cuenca. Okay, here we go, up and up. Again, I wouldn't recommend you to come here if you don't know, and even less in the evening, because it's lonely. I've done this many times, but don't do it. In this Twitter list, you need to have a Twitter account, an X account, to use it, to be able to watch the list. But why Twitter? Why not another, like newspaper or something? Well, for Cuenca, you only have like one local newspaper that is good, which is El Mercurio. You go to www.elmercurio.com.ec or .ec, something like that, but you look on Google, El Mercurio Ecuador, Cuenca, and that's the local newspaper. Then you have the Facebook websites, but most of these accounts that I am sharing in this list, they update first on Twitter. So if you want to watch the breaking news first time they happen, enter on Twitter. Oh God, it's difficult to climb and talk at the same time. One advantage of being here is that view. Shoot, I'm out of shape. Buenas noches. Jesus Christ, I've been out of shape for a long time. I usually don't get so tired with this climb, this hiking. Well, I'm here. Let's see how many people there are. If no one, very few. I could tell for the time, usually Sunday evening, I see a few people here. Because usually that's packed, that's piled up with people, that's crowded, and there are kids playing here. So yeah, there's less movement than usual. Well, I made it, I think. I won't die. Yeah, also, if you're not used to hike, it's bad. I haven't done hiking, I haven't done hiking since my baby is born, maybe 5 months ago. Well, welcome to Turi. The prison would be like 2 miles away from here, that way. It's not that far, 2.5 miles, maybe 3, but it's not that close either. So this is a safe area. Yeah, there are a few people for a Sunday evening. Usually you have many more people here. That's the tour bus, so it's also working. And again, this report is about Cuenca. General situation, they're arresting more people, they're intervening more areas that until a while ago police didn't dare to enter. I don't know, corruption, whatever, but they are doing it now. During last night in Cuenca, we also had the situation of 2 planes. One at midnight, one at 2:30. And actually, it wasn't 2 planes. It was 1 plane that arrived at midnight and left by 2:30. It was an airplane of the armed forces to bring maybe more soldiers or equipment. And during the night, the mayor, the church, they were negotiating with the prisoners or something like that. In the end, because they had hostages, the guards of the prison, many of the guards of the prison, they were kept as hostages. I'm talking about the prison here in Cuenca. They could negotiate or whatever. Some people say they didn't have to negotiate. I mean, just that the church convinced them of what was the correct thing, whatever. The thing is that they released the hostages. And in the morning, today, early morning by 6, the soldiers, the armed forces, enter the prison. And by 10 a.m., the prison was in control of the armed forces. And this is a situation that happened in most prisons in the country, or I think all were invaded. We have seen in social media lots of things today. The prisoners singing the anthem, the soldiers taking the guns from hideouts that they had inside the prisons, police and soldiers in conflictive areas in many parts of the country. That's the situation, that the government is advancing on this war against terrorism. Again, is it safe here? I would say in Cuenca, yes, it's relatively safe. See. Let me know if you're in another town of Ecuador, what's the situation in your area? How are you living this situation there? What have you seen in the last few hours? Is it safe? Well, I wouldn't say it is safe to move between cities at the moment because we don't know what may happen. It may get worse. I really doubt it, but it may happen. And I think it will continue to improve, but I will let you know. Let me know if you would like these videos or maybe 2 minutes just saying a summary and saying things are okay or there's a big situation, so that I take that into account. Also, something else that was keeping people here in Cuenca concerned, even me, is that besides the planes last night, which we didn't know what it was about because on the websites they couldn't watch what these flights were for and they were not commercial. Later in the morning we knew they were from the Air Force. Another situation is that during all the morning, today Sunday, there were banks, explosions, especially here in the southern area, like Tres Puentes, Mall del Rio, Turi. So the most logic thing was to think that there was something happening in the prison, because something was happening in the prison early morning. But this thing kept going on until 11, 12, 1, 2, and what this was all about. Well, we don't know what this was all about. Most likely it was the normal happy bangs, the normal fireworks that the churches fire on Sundays, or there were parades. Cuenca is a very Catholic city again. And in these celebrations, you usually have this. That's something that you have to realize about living in Cuenca if you're interested in living here. There are fireworks all the time, almost every day and almost every season. Some days are calmer, but even during weekdays, like out of a sudden at 2 p.m., boom. But usually it's for Catholic events happening in the area. There was no news about this thing, about this explosion, so that's the most easy thing to assume. Again, if you want to watch news on Cuenca, I let you my Twitter list so that you see filter information that is from reliable sources and they update quickly, like you have breaking news on time. In Facebook, it takes longer, so I don't recommend that. And if you want to watch, you are a person that likes to read longer, check El Mercurio Cuenca, Ecuador on Google. And if you want to watch national news, read primicias.ec. That's my main source for national news. For video, for those of you who like to hear and watch video, Teleamazonas News. I also leave that on the description of this video. Leave your comments, leave your questions. Thank you for the reception. Let's see what happens in the next few days. The classes are still suspended until January 17. We don't know if on January 18 they will resume, but on January 17 we will have news. if they will continue suspended in person because the classes are being held online, or if we will return to in-person classes. University is the same. Most universities are in virtual mode. The situation in the prisons is controlled. On the streets, of course not, because the gangs were many. The deaths have not been as many as you may think there would be. Actually, it's only like 5 police officers who have died and like 7 criminals. Most have been arrested. The leaders of the gangs, like the top leaders, they haven't been caught. Some smaller leaders or smaller gangs, they have been arrested, or leaders of certain areas, but the top, no. We'll see how this evolves. We're working tomorrow. The situation is not 100% normal. It's not normal, but it's way better than we thought it would be. Anything could happen. Stay tuned, not only to me, but to the other channels. So far, so good for what the situation takes. And let's see. And if you want to talk more in detail about this, you can look for me on Instagram, on the other social media. Okay, just before I leave, I want to show you the Turi viewpoint a little bit more. It's already evening. Almost all restaurants are open. That's the transit police, not even the actual police. But of course, they all coordinate with the others. Like they have radios. If something happened, they call immediately. Well, that would be everything for today, for this week also. Thank you for watching until here. Remember to subscribe, to give your like, to comment, whatever it is. And see you in upcoming videos to talk about other things, hopefully, and just good news. But if I had to report bad news, you will know, because I already told you that the first thing I want to show here is the honesty. So if something's bad, I'll let you know, okay? See you in the next video. Have a great start to your week. Bye-bye.